Welcome to the Compliance Officers Playbook podcast. I'm thrilled to have you with us today because we are tackling a document that has been making some serious waves in the governance community.
It really has.
We're looking at a massive, really pivotal document released by the Australian government's Digital Transformation Agency, the DTA. It's the Australian Government AI Technical Standard version 1.
It is great to be here. And honestly, you're right to call this pivotal. This document, it effectively draws a line in the sand regarding how the public sector, and frankly, any serious organization, should be handling automation.
Right. And I know what some of you might be thinking immediately, oh, another government standard. Is this just going to be a checklist of high-level ethics principles that we print out, put in a binder, and then just ignore?
And that's a fair question, usually.
It is. But having read through this, I can tell you this is not fluff.
Yeah.
It is not a philosophy seminar.
No, it is absolutely an engineering document. It's a technical standard in the truest sense of the word.
Exactly. This is a blueprint. It gets right into the nitty-gritty of how to actually build, run, and eventually kill an AI system without breaking the law or public trust. And here is the hook. Even if you aren't in the Australian government, this standard is really shaping up to be a gold standard for AI governance globally. If you're looking at, say, the EU AI Act or the NIST frameworks, this sits right alongside them, but with very, very specific implementation details.
That's exactly the point. It moves the conversation from, oh, AI should be fair, to here's the engineering control you must implement to ensure fairness. It applies to AI services, products, decision-making systems, and yes, it explicitly covers generative AI, GenAI.
Which is what every boardroom is scrambling to figure out right now.
Absolutely. They're all trying to regulate it.
Okay, let's unpack this. Before we get too deep into the weeds, give us the lay of the land, the scope. Who does this actually apply to, and how does it fit with the laws we already have?
So the scope is, well, it's comprehensive. It covers everything from administrative decision-making, like approving a grant or a visa, all the way to just customer service chat interfaces. But the DTA has taken a really interesting agency-first approach.
Agency first? That sounds a little bit like jargon. What does that actually mean in practice for a compliance officer listening to this?
It means they aren't trying to reinvent the wheel. They're not creating some kind of parallel legal system for AI.
Okay, that's good.
The standard explicitly states that it integrates with existing frameworks. So if you're a compliance officer, you're not throwing out your Privacy Act compliance or your Protective Security Policy framework or the Essential 8 for cybersecurity. This standard is designed to layer right on top of them.
So it fills the gap.
It fills the gap specifically created by algorithmic decision-making.
That is a relief.
Yeah.
I mean, the last thing anyone needs is more silos where the AI compliance is contradicting the privacy compliance. Now, the structure of our conversation today is going to follow the structure of the standard itself, which is built around this lifecycle model.
Correct. And this is important because it distinguishes it from a standard software development lifecycle, an SDLC. This is an AI lifecycle. It has 3 main phases.
Okay, what are they?
First, you have discover. That covers everything from design, data, training, and evaluating. Then you have operate, which is your integration, your deployment, and all your monitoring. And finally, the phase that usually gets neglected until it's a total disaster.
Let me guess. The end.
The end. Retire the decommissioning phase.
So we're going to walk through this life cycle, highlighting the rigorous must-dos, which the standard calls required criteria, and the should-dos,
Right.
or recommended criteria. Let's start with Section 1, the rules of the road. These are the requirements that apply to the whole life cycle.
Right. And the first major hurdle here, it addresses the black box problem.
Right. The idea that we feed data in, some sort of magic happens in the hidden layers and an answer comes out, but we have absolutely no idea how.
Precisely. And this brings us to Statement 5. The standard is very, very clear on this. We must explain the system's limitations and its capabilities.
Okay, but is that just technical documentation? Like explaining the neural network architecture to another engineer? Because, usually that's where explainability stops.
It starts there, but the standard demands much, much more. The key detail here is explaining the outputs to the end users. So if an AI system makes a decision, let's say it recommends rejecting a visa application or it flags a financial transaction, the human on the other end needs to know why. You cannot just say, computer says no.
Right.
Criterion 12 and 13 are explicit. You have to explain the technology used, sure, but you also have to explain the specific rationale for that specific output.
That is a heavy lift for deep learning models.
Yeah.
By definition, a deep neural network doesn't really think in logical steps that translate easily to English. It thinks in, vectors and weights.
It is a massive engineering challenge, and it forces agencies to consider a trade-off. If you can explain it with tools like, say, if you're loving this conversation and want to be part of keeping it going, the best way to support the show is to become a paid subscriber on Apple Podcasts. You'll get access to the full episode, plus every deep dive we do. Head to Apple Podcasts, search Compliance Officers Playbook, and join our growing community today. Invite listeners who love this show to become a paid subscriber today for $5 USD, and get full access to all premium episodes packed with insights, stories, and value they won't find anywhere else. Thank you for joining us on the Deep Dive.